Hey YouTube, how's it going? How's your weekend? What did you do today? Today we did a bunch of errands. We cleaned our house because we've been slacking with our cleaning. We try to do like an actual real clean once a month, and then we will like vacuum up our messes and do basic cleany things to keep our house tidy. But yeah, we've been slacking. We haven't done a proper clean in a while, so we actually did a proper clean. And then we got a little humidifier for our bedroom because I notice when it's more humid in our house, then my eyes don't hurt as much. So we got that. We had it set to a higher amount of humidity. So maybe my eyes will start to feel better because in our office we have a little like thermometer thingy with a little humidity whatever gauge, and then when it's at like 50 or above I always feel better, my eyes don't hurt, and then like underneath 50 my eyes are dying. So I think our house is definitely too dry. We have some friends. How nice. Yay. Hi Lori, thank you. Yes, like the stream if you want, and don't be in top chat, be in live chat. Hey Anastasia, how's it going? And then Mr. Ranger Lab, hey, I'm so happy you guys are here. Today I'm really excited for us to do part 2 of the video we looked at yesterday. This is Bill Britt. He was, my apologies, one of the top Amway distributors ever. We learned from Mark that he started in 1970, and he was one of the people who started the Amway tool scam. I'm just going to open up my pop. And the friends who are in my chat right now, they know what the Amway tool scam is. If you're watching on the replay and you're not sure what that is, it is top Amway distributors open up something called Amway Motivational Organizations. They operate underneath the Amway umbrella, but separate from the Amway downline, the Amway comp plan, where they sell books and tapes and websites that are meant to motivate us and keep us in the system for as long as possible. So in my opinion, the older version of MLM coaching. Oh, Lori. Yeah, if you don't want to listen to him, that's totally fair. I appreciate you coming in and joining. And yeah, if this is not if listening to him is not enjoyable for anyone, like make sure you go watch her. I think the Clown Tan's live now. I bet theirs would be fun as well. But yeah, and I was listening to this and my freaking computer, it was freezing. Like the video was freezing. So we'll see. I have a backup. So hopefully we don't need to use the backup. Oh, Julie, we'll have to catch the replay cards at Neighbors. We'll have fun at the neighbor's house. That's awesome. Thank you for saying hi. That's so nice. Okay, I'm ready to go. Tell me if you can't hear them, and let's go.
25 to 35 is where your greatest growth is going to take place. Not putting anybody down older than that, certainly not Reba. That's here. It's be 85 in June. Everyone's welcome. But you know what Reba's got in her group? A bunch of young guys, young people. It's okay to get everybody you want, but by and large, what's different about young people? They're not worried about the pension they built up for so many years. Just watch this real quick. Okay, Paul, is Paul in here now? Okay, I think Paul was 23 when he started business. Ange, how old were you? 28. Al, 31. Now these are the diamonds. Okay, Rocky, 30. Bobby, 28. Charlie, 28. Y'all hear me? Brian, did I get you? 28. Now, don't make me explain that. And that's not a put down to anyone too young or too old. It's just a matter of where the action is. And so everybody needs that. Let me tell you about young people real quick. They can see themselves beating the system big time. And when they got a lot of energy to use, they will use it. That's where a lot of you guys are in here right now. So if I were 75 and starting this business and know what I know right now, I'd go look for all the 23, 24-year-old guys I could find. Now, if somebody older and said 75 want to get in, I said, okay, you can get in, but get all the 23 and 24 and 25-year-olds you can. Y'all with me on that? That's not putting down anybody. That's just recognizing the fact of life. Okay, now.
I have him at 1.25 speed. Tell me if he's too fast. Oh, Julie's hanging until I need to leave. Yay, that's awesome. Thank you, Julie. So it's so interesting how I think Cena said it in our video yesterday when 25 to 35, those are the ages that he wants us to recruit, because when we're that young, we are not worried about our pensions. We just want to be where the action is, and we think we can beat the system. And then he went through and went to all of his diamonds. We've heard some recognizable names in there. We heard Rocky. We heard, I'm sure, Bobby Harris. We've done videos on Bobby and Priscilla Harris, all really prominent people within the Brit Worldwide organization. And all of those people started in Amway when they were younger than 35. 35-year-olds, apparently, they're not worried about pensions. Maybe they're not worried about like taking care of kids yet, but I'm like close to that range, and I don't have kids, but I worry about my pension. I worry about savings. I worry about making sure that I can help set up my husband and I for a secure life later on once we're retired. Just because people in that range might not necessarily have kids yet, they're still worried about things. Maybe they're trying to establish themselves in life, and it's really strange to hear that we are being taught to take advantage of younger people who are at a different stage and who are potentially worried about where they're going to end up in life. At least he's not telling us to recruit 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds whose brains literally aren't developed yet, who the 18-year-olds are children. They're children. At least he's not telling us to do that. At least he's telling us to recruit older people, like still younger, but not children. And I'm just writing notes here in case you're wondering when I'm looking down, but just so I don't have to pause every 5 seconds.
Now, if you can do that, you can teach that. See, people need to see the bigger picture. They should be in too long before you show them. So here you got a shot, not just doing it, but once you do it, you don't have to do it over each year. It's already done, as long as you don't mess up your family, mess up your kids. As long as it's a solid foundation that you build on, they're going to be with you. As long as you're feeding them after they got the diapers changed, then you got to feed them. How you feed them? Books, tapes, and rallies on a consistent basis to work on this computer up here. Do people have to go? No. They should be. We do it only for ones that can't wait to get there. We do it for ones that can't wait to get their new people to see this couple that's going to be speaking this weekend. They just can't wait. It's not like, oh, here we got to go to a seminar and rally again. Now, I don't go to seminars and rallies. I don't even do seminars and rallies unless I got a special deal or special situation, like I'm going to do one up in Canada for the first time in a long time, but it's only for a small group. I'm going to be up there, okay? Because that's a personal group up there, and these guys are growing like crazy, and I'm going to be up there with them. It's personal. When it's personal, it's different from the whole organization. Now, I don't have to do for these guys what I used to do for them. We've run out of that. No need for me to do what they can do. Okay, so, but I'm going to be up there, but that's very unique and very unusual because, see, they need us.
All right, so we have to make sure we feed our new people. We have to give them the foundation that they need in order to make money in Amway. The way as the upline that we feed our people is through books, tapes, and rallies. We've talked about this before. He told us that we only need to have about 16 books as Amway distributors. And if we read them all, then we need to read them again. And our good friend of the channel, PH Actress, told us that, sure, he's telling us we only need 16 books. But they said, I guarantee you every single Amway distributor has 50, 60, 70 books on the Amway reading list on their shelves. And of course, Bill told us we need to all read the exact same 16 books because we all need to be bought into the Brit Worldwide system, and we all need to think the same and have the same like mindset and the same outlook on life. And okay, and he said that he only does certain rallies if he has a really personal connection to it, and that's the way that he works his debt. So when you're Bill Britt, you cannot afford, you don't have the time to talk to every single person in your damn line because that's, I don't even know. I wouldn't even be able to guess. Hundreds of thousands of people. So this is how Bill worked his depth. He would have rallies with thousands of people and he would just talk them all up on stage and, in my opinion, give mumbo jumbo motivational advice that doesn't actually help us figure out how to make money in our business. When I was 35 and younger, I didn't worry about pensions. I'm lucky that I started working for a company that had one. It makes a big difference. Also, no one worries about healthcare when they are young and healthy. Of course, not a worry in Canada. Yes, I think the majority of like a lot of healthcare is covered in Canada. Like, say if I were to go and like get hit by a car and I needed to be brought to the hospital because I had a broken leg, say, it's not necessarily that the ambulances are covered because you do have to pay to be brought to the hospital. You wouldn't have to pay for this surgery. You wouldn't have to pay for any of the drugs or the doctor's time or anything. But if you have like a removable cast, you'd have to pay for the cast. And then unless you have insurance through your work, the medication you might need after is not covered. And then physio would not be covered. So it's just like the basic standard of care is covered. It is nice that we don't have to pay for surgeries though. Oh, and Jenny's here. Thanks for coming, Jenny. That's so nice of you to be here. Thank you. I'm not going to tell you guys to go watch the Clown Town. My dad told me to stop doing that. He's like, people are watching you because they want to watch you. Okay, let's go.
Special feeding from their daddy. A whip.
Ew, ew, special feeding from their daddy. I thought that we were independent business owners. Why do we need to have a special feeding from our daddy? That is just creepy and weird. And I know he's saying like, we have to feed them. We have to change their diapers because they're just babies. They don't know anything, but that is creepy. Does anyone agree that that's creepy? I should have named it that. I should have named it Bill gives a special feeding to his babies or something. That is so creepy, sir.
I've got to go up there and whip a few of them. Smack a few of them. Get them straightened out on some basic things. So see how it works, folks? Now, if you look at this, there's not a thing on here you can't do. This is called momentum. This way you don't have to take a whip and try to beat the PV out of them. I'm going to beat the pudding out of you, boy. I'm going to beat the PV out of you. This way you hang loose. You laugh a lot. You're friendly. Because you got some going to do it no matter what. Because they've been introduced to too many people. They know too much. They've seen too much. And what you got to do is serve them. The minute you start giving them one-upsmanship, you're dead in the water. You have got to serve them. And sometimes you serve people best by getting off their backs. The last thing you want to do is be on their backs. Dave, have I been on your back? Only as a friend. Bill and Kay, have I been on your back? I don't need to be on anybody's back. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, be broke. It's okay with me. Now, it really isn't okay with me, but I had to get that philosophy going in my own self because I'd worry to death about all the people that quit and don't do it. I can't get worried about all the quitters. I can't get worried about all the losers. I just forget their names and I can't remember it. What's his name? Oh, so-and-so. Yeah, oh, so-and-so. What was his name? I don't know. Who cares? I don't. Now, you know, maybe I'm faking a little bit there, but you're going to have to do the same thing. If you start worrying about everybody that could and doesn't, you're going to spend so much time worrying, you're not going to have any time to give your guys that could and will. Amen? You guys in here don't make it back here next year, it's not going to be because the business don't work. It's because you ain't got the guts to do it. And you're not going to be 60 looking as young as I do.
Okay. I have some things to say. First, we are beating the PV out of people. He said we don't beat the PV out of people. But can you imagine, like, why are we even talking about this if the PV of the people below us is not directly connected to our success in Amway? We know that we need certain people underneath us who have a certain rank and who have a certain personal volume. And so you do kind of have to beat the PV out of people, right? Because if you don't have your people buying things and recruiting people who also buy things, then your PV could be in jeopardy. So he's trying to be more cavalier about it and say, oh, just have momentum and then you don't need to beat the PV out of people. But I feel like only very few people don't need to worry about PV, and that would be like Bill and maybe Bobby Harris and definitely Dexter, the people who have thousands and thousands and thousands of people below them. They don't really need to worry about it, but your average person in Amway definitely does. So that's creepy. We have to serve the members of our downline, but we should not be on their backs. We serve them by not doing any one-upmanship, by not trying to like show how great and amazing we are. Although in the first part of this video, he told us that we need to bring people in groups to encourage competition. So aren't we supposed to showcase the behavior that we want our downline to replicate? What maybe by no one-upmanship he means don't be a dick about it. But I feel like if you want people to replicate your behavior, you should be proud of it. You should say, look at the amazing accomplishments I was able to achieve. You can do this too, instead of just like, I don't know what my point is. I'm sorry, I'm going in circles. And he was saying he doesn't know the names of the people that don't make it in the business. In my opinion, I think that just shows how transactional these relationships are. You're only someone's friend if they're meeting the personal volume requirements and if they are helping contribute to your rank. It doesn't matter what people are going through. Doesn't matter if, say, the main person in your downline lost a family member and then they take a step back from Amway. I wonder in that case, would Bill or high uplines actually reach out and actually care about those people of their downline who aren't contributing, or would Bill just forget your name? I was watching them and I saw your notification come up. Awesome. Thank you. That's so nice of you to join. It is creepy and it is condescending. You're right, Mr. Ranger Lab. I missed part of that, but same. I feel like I'm not expressing myself very well today. I prepared with my eyes. I took Tylenol and put drops in and stuff, but I feel like I'm already struggling a little bit, but it'll be okay. I'm not going to be too hard on myself. Yeah, they're quitters. The people who he doesn't know their name, those are the quitters and losers. And why you knowing someone's name, why is you knowing someone's name and you caring about them contingent on them being part of your Amway downline? Okay, 66866. We learned about that. Let me go back. So you have to recruit in phases, right? And you need to bring people in big batches, and you need to bring them in quickly so you can encourage competition. I don't know exactly what the 66866 will help us achieve, but I think it's at least diamond, maybe, or emerald, one of those two. You just have to bring in a group of 6, a group of 6, a group of 8, a group of 6, a group of 6, and you do it fast. So that's what that is. And I'm pretty sure, let's Google it. It's like a system that Bill Britt created, just like the 953 BIB system that I did a video with the Clown Town, I think it was back in June. It's a system created to show how you can find success in Amway. I'm just Googling it, and if there's something reasonable we can look at. It's not really, there's no info about 866 anywhere that I can see. And some of it looks kind of sketchy. Yeah, some of it looks kind of sketchy, so I don't want to click on it. And he's talked about how he was broke prior to being in Amway, but he was a city manager. And I don't know how much city managers made in the 70s, but now city managers make huge amounts of money, at least in Canada. And so I'm not sure how a city manager could be broke. Oh, Lori, it's okay. I kind of wanted a definition of it, right? To actually explain, because he kind of went in circles, because I thought at some points he said, that's how you get to diamond, and then he said to emerald later. And so I don't truly know the answer to it. But I can just know we recruit people in phases based on those numbers, right? But yeah, it's okay. I want to know more about 66866. Once you see it, you realize that that's the use of third grade playground antics. Taunting people about being a quitter is like taunting a kid about being a chicken. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you're totally right. Okay, let's keep going.
Except for the weight. That's part of prosperity. No, it isn't. It's 16,000 jars of peanut butter, 52,000 eggs, 46,000 pounds of potatoes, French fries with ketchup. Really, I was 180 when I started the business. I was slim. But something happened along the way. All these meals I've had, I got to be in love with my group to eat all this food that I've been eating. I can do that. That's a done deal. If somebody don't do it, that's their deal. It ain't mine. I'm doing it, and I'm going to find the people like me that want to do it. I'm going to be free, and others that want to be free, we'll find each other. The ones that want to be enslaved, stay a slave. I'm moving on. Somebody don't like it, don't bother me at all. This is America. I got a right to be free, and I'm going to be free no matter what. That's the way it is. It ain't going to change. If you don't like it, take a flying leap. You know? I will not be denied.
You. He said gaining weight means prosperity. It means that he's made it big in the business. If you've been around for a while, you would remember I did a stream. I think it was Bob Andrews, and he talked about how you need to sacrifice certain hobbies so you can become diamond. And when you're at Diamond Club, you're sitting in the hot tub, then it doesn't matter what you look like, and all of the biggest diamonds, they're all pudgy. And so I just found that connection interesting, that Bob said all the diamonds are pudgy and none of them have six packs. And then Bill Britt said, oh, I gained weight in the business and that's a sign of my prosperity. And I think the Bob Andrews thing was from 2003, and this is like, I don't know when it was, 80s or 90s. And the chanting. So I think it was PH Actress who told us about the big important phrases in Amway, right? Freedom, diamond. Now he's talking about enslaved. Do you want to keep being a slave to your job? Then just stay in your job. Don't join Amway. Amway is the way to not be a slave anymore. And that kind of comparison, we know how horrible and problematic that is. Those who are at an average work environment, they have the freedom to go home, to spend time with their kids and their spouse and do things that they enjoy. We know it's not the same, but in Amway, the 9 to 5 is really villainized, and it's like you're either in Amway and you're happy, or you are in your 9 to 5, you're working for a jackass. You are a jackass of the boss, like Dexter Yeager said, and you're miserable and you never spend any time with your kids. Oh, I missed some comment. Mark's here. Yay. Hey, Mark. I'm happy that you're here for another Amway one. Thank you for joining. Everyone's saying hi to Mark. Oh, creepy Anastasia. How do they know when to chant? Exactly. How do they know? Because I couldn't tell right away that he wanted them to chant back, because he was just talking and then they all just chanted. How strange. How creepy. Yes. Amazing question, right? Everyone's here. Hello, friend. Hey, Sina. Thank you for being here. Oh, Avery, I should have said hello instead of just reading your comment. Thank you for joining. It's so nice to see you. And Sina's here. Woohoo. Yay. Thank you for joining me, Sina. Okay, let's keep going.
I'll not deny myself. I know that people out there just like me, that'll get excited just like me, that'll work hard just like me, that'll read hard just like me, that'll listen hard just like me, that'll go wherever they need to go just like me, that'll do whatever they need to do just like me. They are there. I don't know who they are, but I'm going to find them. Then I'm helping find some more just like them. And we're going to get the job done. And these are going to be my kids and my family. We're going to help change the world because we care. And ain't letting nothing stand in the way. That's it. Period. Final. Done deal. How long should you work in depth with somebody? Well, you see, I found it very important when you first get started. One of the most important little concepts of the business is somebody you're close to, that you're friends with, that won't let you down. A building buddy. If you take a look around, you can see it. I can show it to you time and time again. That's why you got to have a transparent personality. A good example, Dave and Brian. You can't find more transparent relationship. I mean, you can see right clean through these guys. They can't hide anything. And they're two of the best buddies and best friends, you see? And look at their friendships down the line. It's people you appreciate. You see what I'm saying? That's where you can't let your people down. You got to give them a friend. You got to be friendly. You got to give them someone that's transparent, that's not fake, that's clean and clear through, honest, decent human being. Best you can be. Somebody you can count on. Somebody that knows fair. I've seen more people work up more deals to try to rip more people off in this thing you could ever imagine.
Okay, he's going to tell us about how people try to rip people off. Okay, so one of his big things he likes to say in his chants, "I will not be denied." It makes it seem like all we have to do is just do the actions he's telling us, and then we can magically achieve all of our wildest dreams in Amway just because we say "I will not be denied." In my opinion, it really gives us the illusion that we have control over it and that we have the ability to decide what level of success we reach in Amway, and we know that's not the case. He was saying we need to find people that are just like us, who have the same dreams, the same personalities, who have the same level of work ethic, and then we need to just, I almost spilled my drink. And then we just need to help those people find other people who are just like them with the exact same personalities. And we need to have our first person, what did he say? The first recruit is a building buddy, someone you know, someone you have a really transparent relationship with, someone that will not let you down. And that one person you bring in, they could be a friend, a relative, or a neighbor, someone you care about who wants you to be happy, and then you bring them in and you make sure that that person does not leave the business, that person keeps on building, and then you'll always have that person with you, right? And you need to continue to make friends downline as well, not just with your first building buddy, because if people feel like they're valued, that they're important to your business, then they're going to stay in your downline for a lot longer. It's interesting to hear Bill tell us the first person that we need to recruit is someone that, what did I just do? Is someone that we're friends with. But we hear, like Ray Higgins says, that there's no friendship tax in business. We should not be trying to build our business based on a favor from a friend. We should just simply let them know that we have this opportunity or this product available, and then let them make their own decision. Okay, why did I flip that? Okay, I'm confused. Okay, I'm ready. Mark said you're calling me creepy. I'm guessing there's a chance. You think so? You think so? Oh, anyone who's been in an Amway event before, if you feel comfortable sharing, no worries. If not, is there a chant signal? Like, how do people know when to repeat after the speaker? So interesting, Mr. Ranger Lab. I agree, Jenny. So culty. No, I don't really see what you're saying. Yeah, they're not giving us any actual tangible tips as to how to run our business properly. Again, it's like, be nice, make friends, rope in someone you care about who will not leave you and who will not disappoint you. That's all that we're hearing.
I remember, I've got so many examples I can tell you about. We'd come to a place like this and somebody would be out there selling belt buckles. But doing whatever it takes. And then the learning process starts. Amen? That's simple, isn't it? That's the simplest part of the whole thing. The hardest part of the whole thing is learning how to relate to people. That's why you wear your best suit. At a seminar and rally, when the rally night comes, you should be dressed like Fifth Avenue, men and women. You should look like, you know, when you buy a suit, if you get one from Diamonds Menwear, for instance, if they don't get that thing looking just right on you, you take it back and you tell them at their cost, you get the length just right, you get the length of the coat just right, you get the inseam just proper width. Don't be wearing pants that would fit a 350-pound guy on a 150-pound guy. Doesn't look good, you know? Make sure you got your socks that stay up. Make sure, you know, like these shoes I got on. These are pretty expensive shoes. I've been wearing them for 3 years, and they look fantastic and wear fantastic. They're beautiful shoes. Now, if I'd bought myself, I could have had 10 pair of $75 shoes now, and they wouldn't have looked as good the whole time. But these, aren't they? They're good-looking shoes, aren't they? Right, guys? Huh? Huh? The good hard leather, and they shine up like crazy, and nobody ever says, look at those cheap shoes he's got on. That's where that's where your self-image comes in. You start building it up. If whatever it takes, make sure you look your best when you're doing the plan. You don't have to wear expensive suits now. I'm not saying that. But make sure you do. Look your best when you're doing that plan, because you're making a first impression on people. You know, the ladies should make sure that you're dressing adequately for the business. Put your best foot forward always and stay on top of this thing. Okay? And then learn to relax. You get the momentum, and this is when the business is fun. When they're going to break, no, you can't stop them. That's when it's fun. When you got 3 to 4 always coming on, that's fun. And let me tell you how you know you got this. You know you should have some figures in mind. You should always be paying 15 to 20 PV checks after you go direct. Out of the 15 to 20, and that's what this is going to give you. When you got 20 personally sponsored, you ought to be paying about 15 to 20 PV checks. Not in here in the first 12. You can't pay. You only sponsored 12. You're not going to pay 15 to 20. This is after you go direct. So don't try to pay 15 to 20 before you go direct, because you can get too wide. If you get too wide too fast, you haven't got the time to build the necessary depth that you need to before you go to the next phase.
What does that mean? I have lots of stuff to say, but he says don't pay 15 to 20 PV checks. You can pay 15 to 20 PV checks before you go direct. Back in the day when Amway was a bit younger, did the uplines pay the downlines the checks directly? Like, did they pay the downlines? Does anyone know? I don't really understand that part. I don't understand how that works. Christina said it's a simple plan. Step 1, join. Step 2, ... Step 3, be a millionaire. I think we can add step 2, dress nicely as identifying someone who identifies as a woman. Dress adequately for the business. Put your best foot forward. Look really nice and polished and put together. Make a good first impression, right? Show the plan 5 to 6 nights a week. Be a millionaire. Right. And there's lots of different like sub steps within there. You need in order to have people who will actually watch you show the plan every single night, then you do need to make sure you are writing the name and contact information of every single person you meet. You need to make sure you're prospecting everyone. You need to make sure your downline feels supported by you, that your downline thinks that you're their friend. So there's like a little bit of a subgroups, but in my opinion, it's join. Look really nice, make a good first impression, show the plan, be a millionaire. What do you guys think? And yeah, I already said that. I think there's some value in looking professional to make a good first impression. Like if you give an amazing interview for a new job and say you're not dressed as you should be for that particular job, right? Then they may think, oh, like they were dressed kind of strangely. Should we hire them, right? I think wearing clothes that match the environment of the employment that you're going for, I think it does make sense. But in the MLM, in the Amway context, he was sounding kind of fast. It's just 1.25. In the Amway context, it doesn't really matter if you look good. If someone knows it's a scam, they know it's a scam and they're not going to join. But maybe he's telling us we have to look really good because then people will think that we're rich and they'll want to join the Amway business so they too can become rich. Do you think that's it? I bought shoes at Aldo's. Still good after 3 years. Yeah, I wear my sneakers until they fall off my feet pretty much. I hate buying shoes. But Anastasia, do they, shine up like Dickens or whatever folksy thing he said? Yeah. We got it. What's Diamond Menswear? Does Bill have his own, does he have his own store? Because he kept saying go to Diamond Menswear. So I wonder, does he have his own clothing store? Does anyone know if Bill Britt had his own clothing store? I'd love to hear it. If you know anything about that. Okay, let's go.
All with me? Be careful about that. I remember when guys used to sponsor 50 to 100, and they're not around anymore either. They never got any depth. They were so busy this way, they never got that way. So that's why we save you some time to get the depth, because that means if you get depth in one leg, at least you have got something. Even if this guy, rest of these quit, you've got yourself a leg. You got 5 deep in one leg, you got a horse coming on there somewhere. Potential anyway. Now that's minimums. These are not maximums. Okay, work depth. Yeah, I'll stay in depth and help these guys, but I want them doing their own thing pretty soon because they can do it just as good as I can. In fact, I think I used to do lousy meetings so they'd hurry up and do it themselves. And I want them to see other people do the plan. Then they learn more how to do the plan. Once you start, you should be a circle drawing machine once you start doing the plan. And once you do it, and if you want to learn the most about doing a plan, go do 15 or 20 plans and then watch somebody's been in longer and you have to do the plan. That's when you'll learn about the plan. You can't learn just sitting there watching someone do it forever. When you're doing it and then you see someone else do it, that's when you'll see a little point or connection you can make that you didn't see before to improve your plan. So you got to be a doer. You can't just be a thinker. You got to be a doer in this thing. Get out and do what it takes. Because why? We want you to make what? Yeah. We want you to go what? Diamond. But we don't want you to stop at diamond. I'm teaching all the diamonds now. Go on to EDC by having your momentum in place so you can do it. I didn't know how to do that years ago. Just do it.
What if we do what he said and learn by showing the plan? We watch Bill do it for us a few times. We take notes. We do it in the same way he does it with the same mannerisms, the same communication styles. And we show it 5 to 6 nights a week like we're supposed to, but everyone says no. Because think about the amount of effort it takes to go into showing the plan. You have to spend countless hours prospecting people, calling people, scheduling. If you are showing it 5 to 6 nights a week, you're working tirelessly to get the proper number of people to actually show up. Because if you want 20 people to show up to a night that you're showing the plan, you need to invite like 50. So if you're doing at least, let's just say 50 to have 20 people. So that means you are like, if it's 5, what did I say? That you're showing it 5 nights a week, right? I can't do math. I'm just going to do my calculator. 5 nights a week, you're inviting 50 people times 5. So you have to invite 250 people a week to have 50 people invited to each of your plans. Your average person does not know that many people, but we know in Amway, the way to know people is just use your kids to prospect for you. Prospect at the grocery store, at Target, at the bookstore, at the variety store. Pretend that you're looking for an amazing business opportunity and befriend a convenience store owner and then trick them into joining Amway with you. Yes, and people don't know this many people, but there's ways around that in Amway. And he said that he would often just do a really bad, show the plan in a kind of crappy way. So his downline would just like get fed up with him and do it themselves. I'm sure he's joking around because I don't know. It's not in his best interest to do a shitty job showing the plan to his downline's prospects. Because he said this a million times. If he doesn't have any depth, then he doesn't have a business. His recruits need to also recruit people who recruit people who recruit people, or else he doesn't have a business. So I doubt that he would be actively sabotaging his depth meetings, in my opinion.
Okay. So how do I work depth in here? Well, I work 3 legs. The only reason I would work 3 legs if I didn't think the other 2 weren't going to do it. Y'all hear me? I'll work this one a little bit, build a friendship in there and so forth, but I want these guys. I want the upline here doing it as soon as possible. I may work 2 more. All along I'm trying to identify 1. That's why I work 3 legs. I'm looking for 1. I don't really care to break a 3-legged person that didn't do any work and I did it all. That's called welfare. I don't really get excited about them getting the money and me doing all the work. You say, well, I love those people. I love them too, but I'd rather have one over here for myself because my success is going to help more people than me helping another guy get welfare. Hello? So 6, 6, 12, work it till you go direct. Bam! Take your list, bring in another 8, get at least 5 deep, 15 distributorships, do the same thing again. Break the 3rd one, bam! Go into the last phase, last 12, 6 and then 6. Why 6 at a time? Because you got time to work the depth. No 6, while you're keeping your numbers up. Amen? Is that complicated? No. Is it doable? Yes. Are you going to do it? Only you can answer that. How many of you need to get squared away a little bit? Anybody? Well, don't.
What? Laura just said, huh? I was writing furiously to keep up with those numbers, and I did not get it. You have to work 6, 6, 12 until you go direct. I'm assuming that means you recruit 6, you recruit 6, you recruit 12 until you go direct. And then here saying 5 deep with 15 distributorships, and then bam. What is the BAM though? Like, is the BAM making $1 million? Is it being diamond? Is it being double crown ambassador? Whatever the fuck the highest rank is. What is the BAM? And he's just making it seem so easy. Get 5, get 10, get 22, and then bam! All your dreams have come true. And I hate it when people in MLMs will say things like, oh, get your neighborhood, get this many people here, and you get this much money, and then you just do it again, and you do it again, and you can make this much money. They make, unless you're an influencer, you cannot just make endless neighborhoods. You cannot just recruit endless people. It's not guaranteed that you're going to recruit 10, 20 people a month unless you have a huge following of people who do not know that MLM is a scam. 6686612.5. And then 515, right? 515 too, because he said, yeah, 15 distributorships. Yeah, so 6686612.5, 515. Same. I'm going to Google it a bit more, just quickly. 66866, Bill Britt meaning. Because I'm frustrated. I want to have an actual proper definition of what this is, and I feel like I don't, because I tried my best to understand what it was, and like I'm not understanding, and I feel like I'm not doing a good job, because I want us to know what we're actually talking about. Oh, my phone's ringing. It was my mother. I'll tell her later when I press the play button when I play the video, I'll tell her I was streaming. Okay. I've looked at this site before. I just typed in Bill Britt 66866 meaning, and this came up. Let's see. Amway legend Bill Britt tribute quotes, lessons, and tips. Okay, top 12 Bill Britt Amway leadership lessons. Let's just read this quick. We're just going to read the top ones. People want to be part of something greater than themselves. Okay, interesting. Get people to events every 90 days, because that's how we feed them, right? That's how we feed them, because they're just babies and they get fed by events, books, and functions and audios. Yeah, you have to work the numbers. There is no secret. I simply showed the plan to 1,200 people. 900 said no, and only 300 signed up. Out of those 300, only 85 did anything at all. Out of those 85, only 35 were serious. Out of those 35, 11 made me a millionaire, of course. We have to focus on finding the leaders. This person said, I think it's better to sponsor 10 leaders on your team than sponsor 11 followers. Join the right company at the right time. Follow a system. Take massive action. You need to personally sponsor at least 50 to 100 people to find a few winners who will also take massive action. Yeah, work the depth. Yep. Stick with one company for the long haul. Focus on your own personal development. Get your spouse on board. Do you notice? Do you think he's referring the board, like get it on the board, like 953 BIB, the board and bedroom? So does that mean we have to recruit our spouse into our business? I wonder. Never quit. Of course not. Here are some top Bill Britt quotes. If you couldn't get excited about your country, you couldn't get excited about your business. The government school system taught me how to be broke. No one can make you succeed. All you have is an opportunity. Okay, they didn't tell us what this is. You didn't tell us what 66866 is. But anyway, let's look at a few more of these quotes. Don't speak what you have got that you don't want. That's what most people do. Speak what you haven't got that you do want. Speak what isn't as if it were. And that's one of the 9 core powers. I have it in my notebook from the time that I did the video with Val and Gus from the Clown Town. We did 953 BIB, and it's the 9 core steps. You have to show the plan 5 to 6 nights a week, which is the 5. And then the three are the three core powers. And so I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but this is another system that Bill Britt taught us about how to be successful in Amway. So we need to follow these 9 core steps. We have to read 30 minutes daily. We have to listen to 1 tape daily. So that those are Amway motivational tapes and books. Attend all functions, show the plan, use the products, make retail sales, be teachable, be accountable, and you have to counsel with your upline once per month. And then there's 3 powers. That's the 3, right? You have your spoken word, the power of submission, and the power of unity. The spoken word is to speak what isn't as if it were bullshit. We have to submit to our upline. We have to submit to the system that Bill Britt has created and the system that Jay and Rich created back in the 50s. That was a tangent. I don't know if we're ever going to find an answer exactly what goal we're achieving with 66866, but that's okay. That was interesting. Let's keep going. Okay, are we ready, friends?
Don't raise your hand. Just think about it. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it for a lot of you, not for everybody. It won't work. Take phone off hook, put kids in the bed, sit the wife and husband down at dinner table or dining room table, get a piece of paper out, and divide the business up of what you're going to do and what she's going to do, what she's going to do and she's going to do and he's going to do. Write your goals down as a family. Write down your long-term goals, identify them, and get them to jive, get them to work together. Because women are dreamers too, big time, right, guys? You know, I mean, women are big dreamers. One of my dreams is to make sure Peg's taken care of no matter what happens to me physically, that she's still taken care of. If you could ask Bill Wallace about what his dream should have been many years ago, and now he thanks God that they were in the business, because if he was in the tire business, Kay couldn't go down there and change those tires. Right, Kay? Well, I don't know. She probably could. I'll have to say she probably down there straightening that place out and changing tires. But it wouldn't have been the same as Bill and selling soap. You taught her how, just in case, right, Bill? Okay. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? Sit down and confer. Sit down and let each person discuss, speak. What do we want? What are our goals? This is, okay, honey, this is what I'm going to do to make goals come true, and this is what you're going to do. In our case, Peg has certain basic things she does. So we know.
That's literally what I think. What did that website tell us? 12 Bill Britt Amway leadership lessons. And I might do a video on just this website. It's fascinating. I found so much stuff on here for past videos. There it is right there. There's so much different content on here if you guys want to go look at it and like poke around. But yeah, one of his big leadership lessons is get your spouse on board, right? And so you sit down with your spouse or your significant other and you like divide the business, give them certain tasks, make sure that they understand the dream and that they have certain responsibilities for achieving their dream. Make sure they're bought into the system, and so they're more likely to be supportive of you and help you stay in the business for as long as possible. So here's what the description of get your spouse on board is. If you want to achieve success in network marketing like Bill Britt did, you need to have a supportive spouse. That means that you and your husband or wife work together to build the business. At a bare bones minimum, your spouse should be understanding and encouraging of your business venture, even if they do not help you build it. It will be almost impossible to reach your goals if your spouse is constantly nagging or trying to sabotage your business. It's a fascinating website, but the writing is not super fantastic. But yeah, definitely go check it out. OnlineMLMcommunity.com. I wonder, why is it so important that our spouse is 1,000% supportive? I understand you don't want your spouse to like I'm thinking in my job, if my spouse was constantly getting on my case about my job, I'd be kind of annoyed. But I think he wouldn't get on my case unless he thought I was in a really unhealthy environment for myself. If I was being treated poorly, if I wasn't valued, he might say something, or if he thought maybe I was like in danger. But other than that, my spouse doesn't really like as long as I'm happy and safe, then he's fine with it. And I've never been in a job where my spouse feels the need to challenge my job. So I think that should be a big red flag. Like, why would a spouse challenge my time in Amway at all? Like, why? That should be a red flag. That should be a red flag. And then also, we've seen tons of trainings about how to get your spouse on board. And a lot of it's manipulation, in my opinion. I don't know if I did a video with this. Tim Sales telling us all about how to manipulate our spouse into joining or helping us build our business and getting them to stop blocking us, getting them to stop blocking us from working our business. It's just fascinating. Like, the psychology aspect of MLMs is very fascinating, and how it becomes ingrained within interspousal communications and communications with your significant other. And it can just, I could see how it really can change the very fabric of a really meaningful, loving relationship when you have this automatic expectation on your spouse that's imposed on you by your upline, that they need to show you a certain kind of support or else they're not a good partner. And we know that's false, of course.
When something happens, who's going to react to it? Like a little thing, for instance, like when the phone rings. Now, do I ever answer the phone? Yeah, if I happen to be right at it, I'll answer the phone. Now, if we're both in bed and the phone rings, I don't jump up and get it. She jumps up and gets it. That's how we work through organizations. Have people down in depth want to talk to me. I'd love to talk to everybody. I'd love to have an hour for everybody. But if I gave every direct in my business one day, it would take me 35 years before I could talk to the next guy. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to talk to me for 5 minutes means 3 hours, if you're lucky. So you got to learn how to divide your time up, because if you let other people control your life and control your time, you wind up missing the boat. You do this, you may have to expand this or even contract this. The important thing is you get the numbers, because what do you want out of your first 12? You want 4 directs now and 4 later. What do you want out of your second 8? You like to have 3 or 4 directs, maybe 6 total, counting incubators. What do you want out of your last 12? 4 now, 4 later, another 8. So if you take 8 and 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, that's 20. That's what you get out of that. If you do it.
What do you think he means? So he's saying out of your first 12, you get 4 directs. Out of your first 8, you get 6 directs. And then out of your next 12, you get 4 now and 4 later. I know we've talked about this before. I cannot remember what going direct in Amway means. What does that mean? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? What does it mean to go direct in Amway? In direct selling, directors earn income by selling. Okay, that's not it. What does it mean? Who knows what it means to go direct? Maybe that means like once you get to a certain rank in Amway, so you bring in 12 distributors, and then 4 will get to the rank. That means they go direct. And then out of the next 8, 6. And then the next 12, 4 will go direct now, and then 4 will go direct later. But we can't guarantee that, though. We can't guarantee that certain number of our distributors, if we can even get those 12 distributors in, we can't control what they do. All we can do is try our best to teach them about this weird-ass Amway system. But we can be like the greatest leader ever, but if they're not going to recruit and convince hundreds of people to join their downline, then we can't get anyone to a certain rank, and there's no guarantee. So I really don't like how he's just saying it so nonchalantly. Jenny says, "Sir, stop it right now." Exactly, Jenny. Stop it, sir.
Do it right. Now, like I said, if you start at Skid Row or start with 15-year-olds, you're going to have to expand this. Or if you sponsor all 93-year-olds, you're going to have to expand it. So this is a guide. I can do it. I can teach it. The best way that there ever was in the history of freedom and free enterprise, by having other people benefit from your success. Well, now you show me what's complicated about that. The only thing complicated is getting off your duff and getting in your car with the right clothes on and getting the names. The hardest part of this whole thing is getting the names. In my particular case, I was sponsored out of Buffalo, New York by a guy I have not seen since 3 years before he sponsored me. That's right. Haven't seen him since I've been in the business for 22 years. I was sponsored by a guy that I met in 1967 for 2 hours. He remembered my name. He's my sponsor, and I've never seen him since 3 years before I got in the business. I got in the business in 70, and I met him in 1967. We've never laid eyes on each other to this day. He still doesn't understand the business. One day, he sent me about 20 people to sponsor for him, and of course, I threw him in a trash can. He didn't understand him. Thought I was going to make him rich. Had his upline, who was Dexter Yeager, showed me the plan one time, and that's all it took for me.
Interesting. So he was recruited in 1970 by some guy that he has never met before, and he had his upline's upline was Dexter Yeager, and Dexter showed him the plan. And as I said here, that's all it took for him. And so it's so interesting that they're all connected, right? Like we know Dex was in at the very beginning. So of course Dexter was in Bob's, or not Bob's. There's so many different male names. We know, so Dexter was in Bill's upline somewhere. And so Dexter was benefiting off of everything Bill was doing, and Bill was making millions of dollars from not just his Amway downline, but also his Amway tool scam company. I have a question, friends. So we just learned here that Bill was somewhere in Dexter's downline, and Dex and Bill both had their own Amway tool scam companies. And so did the people who were affiliated with Brit Worldwide, are those the people in Bill's direct downline only, or is that just his downline in general, like the people who his sponsors sponsored? Because I just wonder, if you're in this line of sponsorship, whose tool scam company did you affiliate with? Did you affiliate with Dexter's, or did you affiliate with Bill's? And we've learned from Danielle Ryan a bunch of times, just because you have a skill in something does not mean we are qualified to teach it. Just because we're able to follow this complicated ass system that Bill is trying to teach us does not mean that we have the ability to go off and tell others how to do it too, and actually be a good teacher and a good leader. He was saying one of the basis of the free enterprise system is that others can benefit from our success. That is hilarious, because no one's benefiting from Bill's success other than maybe Dexter, right? And Bill, of course. If your upline in your MLMs gets to be a top 10 Beachbody coach, is elite, is at the top of the company, that does not bring any direct benefit to you. It doesn't really matter. You don't get more pay if your coach is an elite coach, but they like to say, we are an elite team. You should be so proud. Like they're actually benefiting, like they're getting more money, and they're not. It's always the coach at the top of the pyramid who's getting all the recognition. And we know this is bullshit. He said the hardest part about this whole thing is just getting the names. I feel like the hardest part, getting the names would be hard, sure, because I'm awkward and shy. But I think the harder part would be to actually convincing them to join our business. What do you think? What is the hardest part of this? I think the hardest part as well is keeping up with all the requirements of going to all the events, showing the plan, reading the books, also being a decent spouse or partner, being a good parent, having time just to be a person and relax. And then also convincing people to join, not going into debt. I think there's a lot of other harder parts in this business than just simply getting the names. Did I miss any hard parts of the Amway business? Let me know.
Why? Because when you're 37, 38 years old and you're broke, it's about time you did something about it. Look in the mirror and say, I need to do something about this. Because you don't have too many good years left if you don't watch out. I didn't have to look in the mirror. I knew I needed to do something about it. Had one meeting. Had two meetings before I went direct. No, let's see. No, I never had a meeting before I went direct. I had my first rally, which was not even a known rally, done by one guy who did the same talk in the afternoon he did at night. He's acting like this different crowd came at nighttime, there wasn't the afternoon. He was an Emerald, had never done a rally before. And so he did the same talk in the afternoon, did the same talk at night, word for word. And sit there and had guys complaining, griping, just looking around in the group, because I had a lousy group. You always start out with lousy groups, it seems like. They didn't know anything, I didn't know anything, but There was a difference in attitude. They were,
Right, Lori? He was saying if you're 37, you may not have a lot of years left. It's like 37's young. Unless you have some kind of like health issue, something that could be like shortening your life. If you're an average person who doesn't have any underlying conditions, then you're young, man. You're young. That's just so annoying. And it's funny he's talking about how his first ever rally he had an Emerald who just said the same speech twice, and it was the same audience in the morning and in the afternoon, just to make him seem more relatable, right? Like, oh, my first ever rally that I organized was trash, but look where I am now. I have all these people hanging on my every word and chanting everything I say. You can do it too. Look where I started. Just faking relatability, and it's like pretending to be a normal person when you're not a normal person. Bill Britt, Dexter Yeager, Rocky Covington were not your average Amway distributors. They weren't.
when someone wanted to leave, hey, we heard all this before. We're wasting our time here. I was sitting there thinking it was wonderful. Why? Because I was thinking, if this idiot can do this thing, I know I can do it, man. Huh?
Okay, so that wasn't his first ever rally. Okay, I thought that was the first rally he organized. That was the first rally he attended. Please excuse me. So he said, oh, this idiot ran this horrible rally. It was so bad, I can do it too. I can do it too. That's mean. If that's actually true, like, what if that Emerald who had a crappy rally heard what you're saying and felt bad about themselves? That's mean.
I mean, man, wait till Bill Britt gets a hold of this thing. If this nut can do this thing, ain't got any more sense to make the same talk twice. The same group of people, word for word. I mean, he could have made a tape and played it that night. He wouldn't even have to be there. He didn't know the difference between a seminar and a rally. That's because we didn't have any rallies then. So right after that, we set up a rally system, a small one, but at least the beginning of one. That's how it started right there. When I got in, all we had was reel-to-reel tapes, and the things would fall apart, and tape would go everywhere, and you try to get it back together, and it's like putting toothpaste back in a tube. Forget it. I mean, you'd guard those things with your life. Everybody come to a rally back then. You were not in style if you didn't have a Craig reel-to-reel tape player. And, you know, we'd come and here today, there had been 2,754 tape players up here. It had been all over the stage and the piano and everything. And while we were talking, everybody trying to get to the crowd to get up here to get them, because that was a badge of honor, man. If you had your Craig reel-to-reel tape player, I mean, you were serious, because you were going to record what was said up here. That's how we got in the tape concept of the educational thing with a cassette tape, because it was distracting everything everybody said, because guys were clicking on, clicking off, and playing the thing back over. And it was a constant barrage of people changing their tapes. So we finally said, okay, give up. We'll forget that. That's when we got the first little cassette deals and started taking them, and then could get everybody copies.
Interesting. I doubt that that's true. He's saying the origin of Amway Tool Scam motivational products was the sign of being serious about your business at these rallies is you would bring your own tape player, and you would just record all the discussion, and all you would hear is tape players going on and off, and they're like, hey, this is annoying and distracting. Let's just record it ourselves and then sell it to the people and open up our own companies. That's interesting. I don't know if that's true. I don't know the history at all of the tool scam, but anyone who knows, is that true? I highly, highly doubt it. And yeah, I already went through it. You were only serious if you brought your own tape player to record.
It's based out of necessity. But nobody knew how to do this. We know how to teach this today. This works, guys. This right here will do the job. This will make you some money right here. You'll just do this. You got to get beyond it with words.
And that's why the quality of all of the tapes we listen to on my channel suck ass, the audio quality, because it's just some guy on stage, probably not with very good audio support, talking, and just a tape of a live discussion, of a live presentation. And so there's very little effort being put into actually producing these tapes and making them high quality, and then you just sell them back to the people, even though I bet you a lot of the people buying these tapes are already there. I bet you a lot of them have already heard Bill's speeches. I bet you a lot of his speeches are very, very similar. So you don't need to keep listening to them again and again. You don't need to buy it. You already heard it. And of course, you're just monetizing something. Like, you can't let someone just have some independence, bring in their tape recorder and record it and listen at home. No, you need to monetize that experience. So you don't let them bring the tape recorder, you tape it yourself, and then you sell it for an exorbitant amount of money.
I don't even question, will this work? Let me see. I don't even question this will work. I know it will. I know enough already to know this will work. I want it. I'm going to have it. I will not be denied. This is a guide. We may have to expand and contract a little bit, but I'm going to do it. I don't own human beings. I'm not going to ride anybody's back, except in a positive way. And I'm going to encourage everybody I can. I'm just going to find them. I'm in a hunting business. I'm hunting for future millionaires. And I'm going to find them. That's it, period. I'm excited. I've got something good to do with my life. I've got something meaningful to do with my life. Thank God for it. I'm going to get the job done. I will not be denied. Now, let me say a word as we wind up.
Ew, culty. So some of his quotes from that chant session, I know it will work. I will not be denied. I'm in the hunting business. I hunt for millionaires. That's literally true. We are in the hunting business. And it doesn't matter who it is. We've learned that over and over again in Amway. It doesn't matter. You're going to tell every person you come across that they're just so interesting, that they are so, you can just tell that they're made for more, that they're so inspirational, and you just have to share this business opportunity with them. It doesn't matter who it is. You're not hunting for millionaires. You're hunting for someone who's at least 18 years of age or older, who has a, what is it in the United States? Social security number. Here it's social insurance number, who has the identification number, and who has the amount of money to purchase the welcome kit. That's all. You're not hunting for millionaires. You're hunting for people. Andy, I know it will work, and I will not be denied. Again, the bullshit manifestation that it just oversimplifies the process. Just say it will work, and then it will magically work. As our friend Daniel Ryan says, it really negates the idea that we need to put in effort and time to achieve our goals. In Amway, we could put in all the time and effort, and we are not going to achieve our goals. We're just not. I'm frustrated. I'm always so frustrated. It's so weird. The first part of this was a little bit weirder for sure. This part's more tame. I'm not getting as annoyed, but this whole thing is weird. You're so right. Lori agrees with you, Anastasia. These are people I definitely not want to hang around with. The word insufferable comes to mind. Exactly. Mr. Ranger Lab, are you the person who called him a slick country boy act that fits him to a T? Maybe. 1 second. Was it Gary? I know someone did yesterday. Was it Gary or Marie? I don't know. I don't remember. It is true for sure. We're so close to being done. I appreciate you all for sticking it out with me. Let's finish up.
If you folks go do this, you'll come back here next year so excited, it'll be unbelievable. Because if you're not breaking pins, and if you're not a bigger pin, you're going to be so pregnant, you'll be just as excited because you know you're going to have that baby. Now, I just want to let you know, we don't mind at all doing Go Diamond in Coliseums. Just as long as they're your directs. And we have got plenty of room in Diamond Club. All the diamonds would like to have more diamonds in their club. Raise your hand, guys. Okay. Hey, that's all. See, they're ready. Yeah. Anybody want to blackball anybody in here? We're all okay. No, we're ready for you. We're ready. We're waiting. Arms stretched out. Amen. So don't let religion hang you up, guys. Don't let any ethnic thing mess you up. Show people how to be in business and how to make some money, but a business with love and caring about other human beings. And no matter who a human being is, they react to that. Not to be judgmental, but to be non-judgmental, but to be totally forgiving as much as you can allow yourself to be. We're talking about people power. Do you realize the potential power of this organization as it grows with the principles that are our foundation? Man, I'm just thrilled to be a part of it with you. So I'm going to ask you to drive home and fly home, whatever you have to go home, very carefully. And with Godspeed, do this thing. Hang tough with everybody. Good to be with you.
Okay, so he mentioned Diamond Club. I know I've talked about this before. Diamond Club Amway. I want to talk about what Diamond Club is. Hopefully they show it. I just typed in, I'm just going to get to the page just to make sure. I don't like searching while sharing my screen, just in case like I show something I shouldn't be showing. I showed Diamond Club on a previous video. No. And all the ones I'm looking at are like, you have to sign in to see Diamond Club. This will be quick. I just want to show what Diamond Club is. Okay, this is not what I wanted. Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe it's not meant to be. Okay, it's not meant to be. I can't fucking find it. Because I've showed it on another video exactly what Diamond Club is. But I can't explain it because I don't remember, you know? That's okay. Okay, so I have some notes and then, oh, I'm looking crazy. And then we can be done. So he said, we're going to come back breaking pins. When you rank up in Amway, that means you get a different pin. You get diamond pin, you get emerald pin. So that's what he means. All we have to do is just implement exactly what he said. And then we'll come back in a year so excited and we'll be breaking pins. Or he said you go bowling and then you have a baby. What did I write here? I said I wrote you'll be so pregnant. I think he means what did he mean? What did he mean? Because I thought maybe that meant, okay, so all of our downline people, there are babies, right? Because we have to feed them and clothe them and put diapers on them. And so when I thought you'll be so pregnant, that means that you will like have a bunch of new directs, right? Is that what he meant? What do you think? I was saying, he also said, don't get hung up on religion or ethnic things. Don't be judgmental, but be non-judgmental. Ooh. And maybe he's saying that like, don't prejudge people, just recruit everyone. It doesn't matter where they were born or their cultural background. Everyone could benefit from being in Amway. Is that what he means? Okay, that was the end of that part. Yes, Mr. Rangelab. I do think it was Gary for sure. I think Gary, when you watched the replay, did you say Bill Britt had a slick country boy act? Or is that someone else? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong because I just heard him say you'll be so pregnant. You'll be so pregnant. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So I feel like I wanted to do. I like a what did we learn thing, but this was a lot. Like this was a lot of videos. Okay, you need to make your money honestly. You need your people to sponsor people. Right? You need to speak what isn't as if it were. So that means you speak your diamond rank into existence. You have to remember that it is your decision to go diamond. It's a decision. You have to carry a pad and paper and get the contacts of everyone you meet. You have to have 4 incubators, which my understanding is an incubator is someone who will build your business and stay with you for a long time. Keep bringing in more legs, more people, so you avoid going into management mode. You have to work in depth, but only with the winners. Don't waste your time on the losers or those who aren't building their business. And Bill Britt worked in depth through conferences and rallies. What else? Don't feel like you need to beat the PV out of people. And learn by showing the plan, not just watching. I have so many notes from the past 2 nights. I have like 6 pages of notes. My poor pen is like dying now. But yeah, that's what we learned. That was a lot. I know this was definitely not your average video in this genre. on YouTube. So I'm thrilled that I have anybody at all watching these videos. Like even one person who comes in to visit and the rest is zero. I'm thrilled with that. And it's so cool that there's 9 people here now. So thank you so much for joining. It means a lot. Yes, make your wife get up and answer the phone. Yes. Oh, and divide responsibilities too, right? Divide the responsibilities and make sure your wife is fully bought into the business, because that's one of the main leadership lessons that Bill Britt imparted on us. Yes, he sure is, Cena. He sure is. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you so much for sticking with me for the past 2 nights. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great evening and a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.